Hi everybody, this is John from DroidDog.com, and in this video I'm going to take a look at the differences in user interface between Samsung's Epic 4G and HTC's EVO 4G. Starting with the lock screens, you'll notice that Samsung has developed something far more useful than what you'll see on HTC's EVO here, which really doesn't offer anything in terms of letting you know that there's waiting messages or missed calls other than what you would see up in the notifications bar. Of course, the entire Galaxy S series has a really innovative implementation of unread messages, missed calls, and such on their lock screen. And for example, on the Vibrant, it was a puzzle piece that you drag into the empty piece to jump straight to your messages. Here, you drag this circle. EVO, on the other hand, there's absolutely nothing unique in terms of being different from other Android devices and how information like that is displayed on the lock screen. Sense we know as Sense. This is version 1.0, and although the phone has been updated to Android 2.2, there really aren't any changes in Sense. It still looks slick. I still like the overall feel of it, but it is dated, and I would have laughed if you had told me a year ago that I would prefer TouchWiz over Sense at any time. But you know, Samsung really responded well to the criticisms of TouchWiz, the disastrous Cube, Behold 2, all the problems around that time, and they came up with some unique, functional, innovative ideas for their own user interface that turned out to make, in my opinion, a lot of the difference in what makes Galaxy S devices as great as they are. Of course, they've got great horsepower and everything. I can pull down the notifications bar and show you, for instance, these toggle buttons at the top of the drop-down menu make all the sense in the world, and I don't even understand why this is not the default in all Android flavors. You've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 4G, and GPS. It would be neat if you could scroll these back and forth and have some other buttons there, but as they are, you know, it kind of replaces the power control widget. If you could have, you know, some of these other options there, brightness, sleep, things like that, you know, you wouldn't even need power control. Another cool thing that they've done with the notifications bar, as if the Android notification bar wasn't cool enough as it is, they made it a brightness control. So if you just drag your finger left and right across this one on any Galaxy device, you get that change in brightness. Sense, you know, the notification bar is just the same notification bar that you see on Android, although it's themed. Music player. Of course, Sense has beautiful widgets. That's one of the things that makes it stand out from the other custom Android user interface skins and integrated systems that other OEMs have come up with. But, you know, let's get this playing here. There's not a whole lot to it in terms of functionality changes. It just looks better. You do have this lock screen where you can pause, skip a track, and go back a track, which is nice. When you pull down the drop-down menu, you just have a shortcut back to the music player. So it's not like it's not usable. I use this every night, actually, and I enjoy it, and it looks very pretty. Now, the thing that bothers me about the Epic in comparison to the other Galaxy S phones is that you have no special music controls. Doesn't matter if you look in the drop-down menu or the lock screen. The Epic just has... Epic just has the default Android music controls in all the same places, which is a little bit of a bummer. And just to show you that that's the case, real quick, go into the Samsung widgets and show you that you do not have anything there for music. If I download the same MP3 on the Epic and the EVO, the Epic simply gives me an error. It says, cannot download, the content is not supported on this phone. EVO asks me if I want to download it, I download it, and it's available for me to play. On the Epic, I have to download these MP3s on my computer and then transfer them over to the SD card, which is kind of a drag. So in terms of being a music player, and I was surprised that this was the case because I like the Vibrant as a music player, EVO's interface is much better and the functionality is better. In terms of other widgets, again, EVO has the most beautiful widgets, I think. You know, Sense widgets are incredibly slick, and let's see what's a good one. Let's see. You've got the FM radio one. They're beautiful, they're functional, and they have a uniform appearance. They all fit together nicely. Epic, you have in my mind, these are kind of gaudy, and you know, when you go to your Buddies Now widget, it blows up the avatar and it looks blocky, and it's just, I don't think they look very nice. However, the EVO has some serious problems with apps that are built into Sense, and or I should say come along with Sense, and I don't know if this is really a UI issue, but I'm kind of wrapping up all of the customized Android version stuff into this video. Peep and Sense, or I'm sorry, Peep and the FredStream apps are incredibly unstable. I am constantly getting crashes whenever I use FredStream or Peep. And let's just go ahead and tap on this to open the app, or one of these things here. I'm going to go ahead and like Carlos's mac and cheeses. Now it's not going to crash while I'm talking about it. Also, I need to switch back to the touch input. This is the keyboard that comes with Sense. This phone does not come with Swipe installed. However, the Epic does. And having a hardware keyboard and Swipe, it just doesn't get much better than that. This is not my favorite hardware keyboard in the world, but you have a hardware keyboard and Swipe alone is good enough for me. Now, for I guess a year after I first tried it, the Sense keyboard was my favorite out of all keyboards on the market, but I think now I have to say that Swipe wins. Let's go ahead and leave Carlos a test here. Oh yeah, it does it automatically after a period. Alright. Just doing a test here, trying to get it to crash for you. Normally I'm trying not to let it crash, and it does it anyway. Anyway, the point is I find myself pretty much avoiding the widgets and special apps that come with each of these phones. I stick to the apps that I like, otherwise, you know, I use TweetDeck or Twicka. But in terms of the keyboard, again, Epic wins. As for the overall sheen and polish of the UI, I still like Sense, but TouchWiz 3.0 has functional features that Sense is lacking, neat little implementations of controls for the OS. Sense just doesn't have that. It's glossy, it looks great, but it's time for an update. Sense version 1.0 versus TouchWiz 3.0. TouchWiz probably has to win.